I'm 83 years old, and I live in an apartment with white furniture. Perfectly white. Italian leather sofa, cream-coloured armchairs, a glass coffee table that I wipe down every morning with a microfiber cloth. Not a single stain, not one scratch. 40 years in this apartment, and it looks like a showroom, like nobody lives here. And I suppose, in a way, nobody does. People tell me my place is beautiful, immaculate, they say. They walk in and they hold their breath a little, like they're afraid to disturb something. And I smile, and I say thank you. But what I don't tell them is that sometimes, late at night, I walk through these rooms and I run my hand across that white leather, and it feels like touching a gravestone. Cold, perfect, permanent. My name is Eleanor. I was a senior vice president at a pharmaceutical company for 26 years. Before that, I spent 15 years climbing. Always climbing. I have a box in my closet, a cardboard box, and it's filled with awards, plaques, certificates, glass trophies with my name etched in gold. Excellence in leadership. Outstanding achievement. Woman of the Year, 1994. I haven't opened that box in 11 years. Last time I looked inside, there was dust on everything, a thick grey layer, like ash, like something had burned and left only residue. I thought about cleaning them once, taking them out, polishing them, maybe hanging them on a wall. But then I thought, who would see them? And more importantly, who would care? The people who gave me those awards, most of them are dead now, or retired somewhere, playing golf, forgetting my name. The company I gave my life to was acquired in 2008. The building where I worked for 3 decades is now a medical centre. My office, the corner office with the view of the city, it's probably an examination room now. Someone sits there and gets bad news about their blood pressure. And everything I built there, every late night, every missed dinner, every sacrifice, it's just gone. Like it never happened. I collect porcelain figurines, children, little boys and little girls, frozen in porcelain, playing or reading or holding flowers. I have 43 of them, displayed on shelves in my living room. People find this strange when they learn I never had children of my own. They don't say it, but I can see it in their eyes, that flicker of confusion, sometimes pity. One of my neighbours, a younger woman, maybe 50, she asked me once why I collected them, and I didn't have an answer. I still don't. Or maybe the answer is too honest, and I'm not brave enough to say it out loud. I think I collect them because they're the only children who will never grow up and leave. They'll never disappoint me. They'll never call me cold or distant or unavailable. They'll never ask me why I wasn't there. They just sit on their shelves, permanent and silent, and they need nothing from me except to be dusted occasionally. People my age, the women I grew up with, we were told we could have it all. That was the promise of our generation. Career and family, success and love. We believed it. God, we believed it. But what they didn't tell us was that having it all actually meant choosing every single day. 1,000 small choices that didn't feel like choices at the time. They felt like necessities, like survival. In 1973, I was 29 years old. I had been married for 3 years to a man named Richard. Good man. Patient. He wanted children. We talked about it the way young couples do in bed at night, dreaming about names and nurseries and family vacations. I wanted it too. At least, I thought I did. But then I got promoted, my first real leadership role. And suddenly there was travel and late meetings and projects that couldn't wait. And I told Richard, not yet. Just a few more years. Let me establish myself first. Let me prove I belong here. He understood, or he said he did. We waited. In 1976, I was 32. Another promotion. More responsibility. More travel. Richard brought up children again. I remember the conversation. We were eating dinner, pot roast and potatoes, and he said, "Eleanor, we're not getting younger." And I felt this flash of irritation, like he was trying to hold me back, like he didn't understand what I was building. I told him, "Give me 2 more years. Just 2 more years." We divorced in 1979, not because of children, not directly, but because somewhere along the way, we had become strangers living in the same house. He remarried a year later, a woman named Susan. They had 3 children. I ran into him once, maybe 15 years ago, at a conference of all places. He looked happy, soft around the edges in a way I didn't remember. He showed me pictures of his grandchildren, 5 of them, and I smiled and said how wonderful, and I meant it, I think. But that night, in my hotel room, I sat on the edge of the bed, and I felt something I couldn't name. Not quite regret, heavier than that. Like a door closing somewhere very far away. I used to think I chose my career because I loved the work. And I did love it, parts of it. The challenge, the problem solving, the feeling of walking into a room and being the one with the answers. But if I'm honest now, truly honest, I think I also chose it because it was safer. A career doesn't need you at 3 in the morning. A career doesn't get sick or scared or ask you questions you can't answer. A career doesn't look at you with those eyes, those needing eyes, and expect you to know how to love without conditions. I was afraid, not of children exactly, but of becoming someone's everything, of being responsible for a whole human life, of failing at the one thing that actually mattered. Work, you see. If you fail at work, you get another job, another project, another chance. But a child is permanent. A child remembers. I had a friend, Margaret, who had 4 children. She used to call me and complain. The exhaustion, the mess, the constant noise. She'd say, "Eleanor, you're so lucky. Your life is so peaceful." And I would agree. I'd pour myself a glass of wine in my quiet apartment and feel grateful for my freedom. But here's what I didn't understand then. Margaret wasn't really complaining. She was sharing. She was telling me about her life, the texture of it, the fullness. And I was listening from the outside, like someone pressing their face against a window, looking into a warm room where I'd chosen not to enter. Margaret died 2 years ago. At her funeral, her children spoke, all 4 of them, grown now with children of their own. They told stories, funny ones, sad ones, embarrassing ones. They laughed and cried and held each other. The church was full, standing room only. And I sat in the back row and I thought about my own funeral. Who would speak? My colleagues? They've forgotten me already. My neighbours? They barely know my name. My lawyer, probably, reading my will to an empty room. I've been thinking about my will lately. I have money. Quite a lot of it, actually. 50 years of saving and investing, no college tuitions to pay, no weddings to fund, no emergencies with grandchildren. It just accumulated. And now I have to decide what happens to it when I'm gone. There's a charity I like, something to do with literacy. A hospital where I had a surgery once. My nephew in Portland who calls me twice a year, Christmas and my birthday. Conversations that last exactly 8 minutes. I met with my estate attorney last month. Young man, very professional. He asked me questions from a form. Beneficiaries. Distributions, final wishes. And at some point he looked up and said, Is there anyone specific you'd like to be the executor? And I realized I couldn't think of a single person I trusted enough to go through my things after I die. Not because I don't trust anyone, but because there's no one close enough to know what my things even mean. That porcelain figurine by the window, the little girl with the blue dress, I bought her in Vienna in 1987, the year I closed the biggest deal of my career. I was so proud, so certain I was winning. The figurine cost more than it should have, but I wanted something to commemorate the moment. Now she just sits there, faded a little from the sun, and no one will ever know the story. After I'm gone, someone will wrap her in newspaper and donate her to a thrift store. 50 cents? Maybe $1? And that will be the end of Vienna and the deal and all of it. I eat dinner alone every night. I've done this for so long that I don't even notice anymore, mostly. But sometimes, especially in winter when it gets dark early, I'll be sitting at my table, my beautiful glass table, eating something I've prepared carefully, salmon and vegetables, a glass of wine, everything plated nicely because standards matter, even when no one's watching, and I'll hear the silence, not the absence of sound. There's always the refrigerator humming, the heat coming through the vents. But the silence of no other voice, no one asking about my day. No one complaining about homework or telling me about some drama at school. Just me and my salmon and my clean white walls. The food tastes different when you eat alone for decades. I don't mean the quality. I'm a good cook. I mean something else. Food is meant to be shared. It's meant to come with conversation and interruption and someone reaching across the table. When you eat alone, night after night, year after year, the food becomes fuel. It goes into your body and it keeps you alive, but there's no joy in it, no memory being made, just another meal in a long chain of meals that no one will ever remember. My friend Dorothy, she's 80 now. She has 3 children and 7 grandchildren. She complains about them constantly. They never call enough. They take her for granted. They forgot her birthday last year, just sent a text message, can you imagine? And I listen, and I nod, and I make sympathetic sounds. But inside I'm thinking, you have no idea. You have no idea what you have. Dorothy doesn't know what it's like to look at your phone at 3 a.m, unable to sleep, and realize that if you died right now, tonight, in this bed, it might be days before anyone noticed. Maybe a week. My newspaper would pile up. Eventually, someone would smell something. That's how it would end. Not surrounded by family, not holding someone's hand, but alone in a quiet apartment that looks like a showroom, discovered by a stranger. I made a decision, somewhere in my 30s, that independence was the goal. Freedom. Not needing anyone. I thought that was strength. I thought that was winning. I used to pity women who lost themselves in motherhood, who gave up careers to change diapers and make lunches. I thought they were settling. I thought I was the brave one. But independence has a shadow that no one talks about. When you need no one, eventually no one needs you. When you build a life that functions perfectly without others, others build their lives perfectly without you. You become self-contained, complete, alone. There's a photograph in my bedroom, in a drawer, because I can't bear to look at it every day. It's from 1990. I'm accepting an award, some industry thing, and I'm shaking hands with the CEO. I'm wearing a red suit, very sharp, very powerful. I remember that suit. I remember thinking I had made it. I was 46 years old, at the peak of my career, and I felt invincible. That same year, my college roommate Linda had her first grandchild. She sent me a photo. A wrinkled little thing, eyes barely open, wrapped in a yellow blanket. And I remember looking at it and thinking, better her than me. better her with the mess and the chaos and the obligation. But here's what I understand now that I couldn't understand then. That project in 1990, that award, that red suit, none of it exists anymore except in a faded photograph in a drawer. But Linda's grandchild? She's 35 now with children of her own. Linda's love, Linda's sacrifice, Linda's choice, it's still alive. It's still growing. It's still rippling forward into futures I can't even imagine. I continued myself into nothing. My career continued into a buyout and a building that became a medical center. My achievements continued into a dusty box in a closet. But I did not continue. There is no one who carries my laugh or my stubborn streak or my grandmother's eyes. There is no one who will tell stories about me at Thanksgiving. There is no one who will name their daughter Eleanor and feel connected to something larger than themselves. I catch myself sometimes doing this strange thing. I'll be in a grocery store or sitting on a bench in the park, and I'll see a woman in her 50s with grey beginning in her hair, and I'll think, she could be my daughter. If I had made different choices, if I had said yes instead of not yet, that woman pushing the cart, laughing at something on her phone, she could have come from me. And then I imagine her as a child, running through my apartment, spilling juice on my white couch, leaving crayon marks on my walls. And for a moment, just a moment, I don't see mess. I see life. But then I come back to reality, to my clean apartment, to my porcelain children who never grow up, to the silence that waits for me every time I open my door. I'm not telling you this because I want pity. I'm 83 years old, and I've had a long time to make peace with my choices. Most days I'm fine. I read. I walk in the park. I have my routines, my small pleasures, but I am telling you this as a warning. Because when I was 30, 40, even 50, I couldn't see where this road was leading. I only saw the next promotion, the next achievement, the next milestone. I didn't see this apartment, this silence, these figurines. If you're young and you're watching this and you're making the choices I made, telling yourself not yet, telling yourself there's time, telling yourself that career comes first and the rest will follow, I need you to hear me. The rest doesn't follow. The rest doesn't wait. The rest makes its own choices while you're making yours. And one day you look up and you're 83 years old and your furniture is perfect and your apartment is quiet and there is no one left to tell your stories to. That's the brutal truth. Not that I was wrong to want a career, not that women should stay home and have babies. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I told myself a story about what mattered, and I believed it for 50 years, and the story was incomplete. It was missing something I couldn't see until it was too late to go back and find it. The white couch will go to Goodwill when I die. The porcelain children will be sold at an estate sale. The awards will be thrown away because no one wants a plaque with a stranger's name on it. And Eleanor, whoever she was, whatever she built, will disappear, like she was never here at all. That's what I think about at 3 a.m. Not the deals I closed, or the meetings I ran, or the glass ceilings I broke. I think about the empty chair across from me at dinner, the phone that doesn't ring, the future that ends with me. I made my choice. 1,000 small choices that added up to this one big life, and I can't go back. But you can still choose differently, if you want to. That's all I wanted to say.